Welcome to Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, the War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman. China is calling it Black Monday. Global stocks are falling as China's market saw its sharpest daily fall since the global financial crisis in 2007. The Shanghai Stock Exchange plunged 8.5% Monday, sending shockwaves throughout Asian and European markets. Today's fall comes after weeks of decline in the Chinese markets, which led to the Dow Jones to plummet by more than 500 points on Friday. The decline also caused oil prices to plunge to their lowest levels in almost 6 years. French President François Hollande has awarded the Legion of Honor, France's highest award, to the 3 Americans and 1 British citizen on Monday for their role in thwarting an attack on a high-speed train traveling to Paris from Amsterdam Friday. No one died. The 3 Americans, 2 of them service members, tackled and disarmed the suspected gunman, a 26-year-old Moroccan man named Ayoub al-Hassani, who police say European authorities suspected of being an Islamist militant, although he was not being tracked. The lawyer for the suspected gunman says her client denies the attack was motivated by terrorism and that he was only a poor man intending to rob train travelers because he was hungry.
I asked him whether he knows what he is being accused of. It is the first thing we do to see if they understand what their rights are. He replied, yes. But when I reminded him of why he was there, he was stunned by the terrorist nature which is being given to his actions.
In news from North Carolina, protests erupted at the Charlotte courthouse after a judge declared a mistrial in the case of a white police officer who fatally shot an unarmed African-American college student who was seeking help after a car crash in 2013. Randall Carrick, the white police officer, faced charges of voluntary manslaughter for shooting 24-year-old Jonathan Ferrell. According to prosecutors, the college student had sought help from a homeowner after a car crash, but the woman had called the police because she believed she was being robbed. When the officers arrived, one pointed the laser of his taser at Ferrell's chest. Ferrell fled in fear, attempting to hide between the 2 police cars, which brought him close to Officer Carrick, who then opened fire, striking Ferrell 12 times. On Friday, the jury said it was deadlocked on whether to convict the officer. In Ohio, anti-choice activists are pushing for a new law that would make it illegal for a doctor to perform an abortion if a woman is terminating the pregnancy because the fetus is tested positive for Down syndrome. The bill is being pushed by the National Right to Life Committee. The legislature is expected to approve the measure. Ohio Republican Governor John Kasich, who's running for president, has not said whether he supports the bill, although he has signed a slew of anti-choice legislation since taking office in 2010. In Germany, right-wing protesters clashed with police over the weekend during demonstrations against a newly opened migrant shelter in a small town outside Dresden. Pro-immigration activists staged a counter-protest holding signs that read, "Refugees welcome." The demonstrations followed the Interior Ministry's announcement that Germany could receive as many as 800,000 asylum seekers this year, the biggest influx since the Second World War. Meanwhile, the Italian Coast Guard says it rescued 4,400 migrants at sea in over 22 operations Saturday alone. This comes as thousands of other migrants resume their journeys north through Macedonia after the country reopened its border with Greece after declaring a state of emergency and sealing the border last week. Guatemalan President Otto Perez Molina rejected calls to step down Sunday night following the resignation of the majority of his cabinet over the weekend. The president has faced months of massive protests amidst a growing corruption scandal, which has led to the arrests of top officials, including the former vice president. The government is accused of running a multi-million-dollar scheme in which importers paid bribes to tax authority officials to obtain discounts. On Sunday, the Roman Catholic Church called for the president's resignation, but Perez Molina rejected those calls.
I declare categorically that I reject any link to the scandal or having received money from that money defrauding operation. My conscience, in that sense, is at peace. I reaffirm that I will not resign and will fully submit myself to the legal process. Good night, and may God bless you.
We'll speak with journalist Alan Nairn in Guatemala City later in the broadcast. Meanwhile, in Lebanon, at least one protester has died as massive demonstrations against government ineptitude rock the capital, Beirut. Riot police fired water cannons, rubber bullets and tear gas at thousands of protesters. The Red Cross says at least 40 people have been hospitalized. The growing campaign, which is dubbed You Stink, began as a protest against the massive piles of garbage that the government has failed to collect. It's now become a cry for the government's fall. In Yemen, tribal sources and local officials say 2 apparent U.S. drone strikes killed 7 people over the weekend. In both attacks, the dead are being described by officials as suspected al-Qaeda militants. Meanwhile, dozens of people have died following U.S.-backed Saudi-led airstrikes on Friday on the southwestern city of Taiz. In news from Afghanistan, at least 12 people have died following a suicide car bomb in the capital, Kabul, Saturday. Officials say the target of the attack was a NATO convoy. 3 Americans working for private contractors were killed, along with 9 others. At least 50 people have died in Syria following government airstrikes Saturday on a residential area of Douma, a city northeast of Damascus. Meanwhile, the self-proclaimed Islamic State has destroyed the ancient Baal Shaman temple in the Syrian city of Palmyra. News agencies reported the destruction occurred Sunday, although the Syrian Observatory for Human Rights says the temple was destroyed by ISIL last month. At least 21 people have died in Somalia following 2 suicide car attacks Saturday. The first attack struck a training base for government troops, killing 16 soldiers. The second struck an intersection on the capital, Mogadishu, killing 5. The militant group al-Shabaab has claimed responsibility for the attack on the training base. In Malaysia, police say they have unearthed the mass graves of more than 20 people who are believed to be human trafficking victims. The graves were found along the border with Thailand, in a region known as a transit point for human smuggling. The site was close to where authorities found a mass grave containing the remains of 26 bodies in May. Democratic presidential candidate Bernie Sanders held his first campaign rally in South Carolina Friday night. The move was seen as an attempt by Sanders to court black voters who still overwhelmingly support former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton. At the event, Sanders invoked the names of men and women who've been killed in police or jail custody in recent years.
We must be clear that when we're talking about racism, we are talking about Sandra Bland, Michael Brown, Rakia Boyd. We are talking about Eric Garner. We're talking about Walter Scott, Freddie Gray, and many others. Many, many others over the years whose names we do not know. And these people died unnecessarily and wrongly at the hands of police officers or in police custody. That must change.
In more news from the campaign trail, Vice President Joe Biden's increasingly expected to join the race as a Democratic candidate. Biden met with Massachusetts Democratic Senator Elizabeth Warren on Saturday to discuss economic policy. Meanwhile, Donald Trump's responded to the case of 2 brothers in Boston accused of attacking a 58-year-old Hispanic man with a metal pole and urinating on his face. Police say when the brothers were arrested, he told them, quote, "Donald Trump was right. All these illegals need to be deported." On Friday, Trump tweeted, quote, "Boston incident is terrible. We need energy and passion, but we must treat each other with respect. I would never condone violence." Bernie Sanders has still drawn the largest campaign rallies, although Trump drew 20,000 people over the weekend in Mobile, Alabama. And women in Saudi Arabia are registering to vote for the first time in the nation's history ahead of upcoming municipal elections in December. Women also will be permitted to register as candidates and run for office in the December elections. The shift implements the late King Abdullah bin Abdulaziz's 2011 decision to grant women the right to vote and run for office. And those are some of the headlines. This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, The War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman.